actually May 2026 is another one of those months, to be honest. It seems like we can't really catch a break.
Themes repeating. That's the beauty of astrology.
My God, they can just astral project. If they have a Taurus rising, that is.
So true. I
Now
know
that
a
I think
couple
about
Taurus
it.
risings. Yeah, you're right. When you talk about a nation and you talk about moon, you usually talk about the people.
Let's just put it this way. From now to 2030, I don't see us having a peaceful time.
Lunatic astrology.
In today's video, we're looking at the astrological stories of the month of May from the geopolitical and world astrology directions. In this video, Donny and Lim and I, my friend and colleague, are looking at three major lunations, rising global tensions, and a Mars-Pluto clash that could trigger some of the most volatile energy of this year. The first half of May might feel a bit more manageable on the geopolitical and world stage, but don't get comfortable, because at the end of the month, things can take a sharp turn and an unexpected direction. From geopolitical shifts to economic power pressure and some repeating patterns, this isn't really just about the astrology of the world. It's how we can navigate each of our lives against the backdrop of that world astrology. So in today's video with astrologer Donny Lim, we're going to cover in the next 90 minutes those three powerful, potent moons, including one on the star Algol and another on War Star Antares. We're going to break down what to expect from each of these lunations in different parts of the world, not just North America and not just the Middle East. If this kind of world astrology is your cup of tea, settle in. We're going to go for a long haul, 90 minutes together. If this isn't your cup of tea, I totally get it. There are better videos for you to watch on my channel, particularly on Saturday, the day before this video drops. You will be able to access your 40-minute video for your sign, 30 to 40 minutes for each sign, all about what you can do personally with this month's energy based on your sun, moon, and rising. This video is for those of you who always ask me for world astrology. So don't listen if it's not your story. If you love the world astrology, let's get ready to dive in. A lot of stuff that Donny and I talked about last month when we put something out just before the beginning of April has actually come to pass. And we actually do a short overview of some of those things in this video as well. So welcome to my channel. Welcome to Lunatic Astrology. Like and subscribe. Give Donny Lim some love. Let's get ahead of the game here of what we can expect in May, and let's bring him into the room and get going and talk about May 2026 and the world stage according to astrology. Why I'm so glad again to have my friend and colleague Donny Lim with us today to talk about the month of May. We were very, very controversial in some of our topics in April, which have come out as having borne true and happened. This month of May is exciting. We have three lunations. We have a very difficult Mars square Pluto at the last week of May. Donny's going to help us dive into the what is it, the bold and the positive stuff that could happen, and then maybe the more scary and darker things near the end of the month. And I hope you guys enjoy our conversation today, and welcome, Donny.
Yes, it's always nice to talk to you, Laurie. And April 2026, it has not disappointed us in any way, shape, or form after what we've talked about. So
Yes, and it makes you wonder sometimes if we're in, I do always wonder if we're in a simulation. Donny and I were talking in the green room before we started about, there's a tool we both like to use called the Lunar Shadows tool, and it allows you to track back kind of like pregnancies, 9 months before and after lunations. And this recent in April moon that we had in Aries is literally recapitulating certain themes, such as the strange image of Trump as Jesus, or unfortunately the crucifixion Jesus upside down being bashed by a hammer, that really made the international shock waves recently by an IDF soldier. And that all goes back to, in the Lunar Shadows technique, an episode in which there was a destruction of a Christian church and the death of a priest by the IDF. So we keep seeing these weird themes repeating. That's the beauty of astrology. And so now we're going to look at what Donny has in his deep Virgo mind research mode come up with us for May, and maybe even recap a little bit of April. Okay, Donny, I'm going to hand it over because you're the king of precision.
Well, I wouldn't say that myself, but the thing is that on the backs of April 2026, actually May 2026 is another one of those months, to be honest. It seems like we can't really catch a break, but we will go, I would say, balls to the wall. with it. That's the best way to call it since we're still in Aries season. We've got like a Aries stellium still going on there. Although the sun has moved on to Taurus, uh, babies that are born like around the Aries new moon, I find them so powerful coming into this world,
Mm,
especially if they have a Taurus rising. I mean, put it this way, that means they've got a Aries 12th house stellium
right.
with like Venus and Uranus in the first household sign, that is, and an unexpected Jupiter as well. My God, they can just astral project if they have a Taurus rising, that is.
So true. So true. I
Now
know
that
a
I think
couple
about
Taurus
it.
risings. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so now let's dive into May 2026. But before that, let's just kind of like do a little bit of what has happened in April 2026 thus far. I mean, April 2026, right at the beginning of the month, I mean, Laurie and I use this technique that's called like Lunar Shadows. And this Libra full moon that occurred right at the beginning, close to April Fool's Day, it derived from a lunar eclipse to begin with. Sorry, solar eclipse that happened in early October 2024. So 18 months later, we end up with this full moon. And, we all kind of gotten to know what was actually going on in October 2024. Someone was running for president, POTUS, and it was like gearing up for it. And now things has kind of shown us what this administration is capable of. I'll just leave it as that. And we are recording on a day where Venus and Uranus are getting closer and closer to 29 degrees of Taurus. So by the time you watch this video, both will have moved on to Gemini. And how many firings from the Trump administration has happened? I mean, I can't keep track of it all. I mean, there's Kristi Noem, Pam Bondi, Randy George. I've picked up on that, which is the Army Chief of Staff. But that firing was initiated by Pete Hegseth, whose chart was activated over that Libra full moon in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of the month as well. So somehow, he's linked into the whole scheme of things that 10 to 12 degrees Aries Libra axis. And then we've got Kash Patel as well. I mean, he just sued the Atlantic for a bombshell article that was published on April 17th. That was when Mercury, Mars, and Saturn, the conjunction was getting closer and closer. So I find that really interesting. And Mercury has just gone past Neptune. And one of the
Yes.
things he was suing the Atlantic for is that he doesn't show up for work, he's incompetent, and he drinks a lot.
Neptune.
Neptune.
Yep.
So I find that interesting. And Mercury is the news, right? An article. But on top of Kash Patel, I mean, I also picked up like Tulsi Gabbard might be on the chopping block coming up. And also the mouthpiece of Trump, which is Caroline Leavitt. Um, and also, not to forget that on April Fool's Day, Artemis 2 did launch off into the sky. But I'm like, really?
Oh, really?
Really?
Are you unconvinced? Unconvinced of its authenticity in terms of its mission?
I don't know. If it happens on April Fool's Day, your guess is as good as
Yeah.
mine.
Who's laughing at us, right?
Yeah, and also the costly rescue of the US airmen. And someone did pick up on the fact that the one that gave the interview was actually a crisis actor. Just saying.
Wow.
So allegedly 400 million was spent on the costly rescue of this US airman. I mean, I'm like, you know what? I can't take April 2026 seriously
Mm-hmm.
for that reason. And I do foresee that there may be subsequent, or should I say, the continual world bombardment of the infrastructure in the form of attacks on Iran still coming up for the rest of April. But then I do see that when we actually hit the first lunation in May, the US and Israel may actually have the upper hand.
Okay.
Is Iran? Yeah.
I just want people to know that he says the rest of April because this is being recorded on April 22nd. Okay.
Yes. And by the time we hit the first lunation in May 2026, Iran may not have the upper hand in terms of the severity of attack. Let's just put it that way. What I'm trying to say is that there may be some, how do I put this? The Straits of Hormuz may actually see an increased flow of goods, put it that way. Do I actually see oil prices being up there like close to 100 US dollars a barrel? In the longer run, I don't see that, but there will be like a new baseline. So there'll be no more 50 to 60 US dollars per barrel oil, which can be replaced by, if I were to give an estimate, it's roughly 70 to 80 US dollars per barrel. It's still being passed on to the consumers, the inflationary cost of it all. So this is like part and parcel of a longer picture that I do see. Yeah.
Okay. You did mention that you were concerned about May in terms of the balance of power in the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. I'm also I just want to reflect back at something that's in the news cycle right now as of the 22nd. It's been trending on different platforms, and this is not like fake news, but one of the generals, there's been a disclosure revelation that one of the generals told Trump that you can't have those nuclear codes, right? In a situation room because Trump was, of course, erratic. And kind of there's a sense of having Trump wanting to have the nuclear codes and screaming that he's supposed to get them, and a top general saying, we're not giving them to you. And that is alarming, to say the very least. When we think about escalation and possible very dire outcomes, I just want to ask you a question. And that would have happened during the triple conjunction of Saturn, Mars, and Mercury around the 19th, 20th on the weekend, on a Saturday, actually. So what I want to ask you, Donny, is do you think, because we're in the blind, guys, this is April 22nd, and I want Donny's thought on this right now because it's going to be time stamped. In my Substack, I talked about the potential, 25th Amendmenting or crisis of health and demotion of Donald Trump based on his erratic behavior. Do you see any of that in the rest of this month or into early May? Do you have a sense of that?
I mean, I did see that there's news concerning his dementia, put it that way. And that's really coming from that triple conjunction of Mercury, Mars, and Saturn that's squaring the ruler of his Uranus, Sun, and was it South Node?
Yes, in the 12th house of hospitals. His Mercury's in his 12th house and hidden enemies. And Mercury ruling that Sun, North Node, South Node, and Sun in Gemini. And I just find that interesting too, because news is trending that he hasn't had his physical. He's supposed to have, it was last April, and his big annual general physical either hasn't been done or hasn't been divulged. There's a lot of controversy going on where even some very conservative publications, magazines, and newspapers are now speaking out saying, has Donald Trump lost his mind? Right. And so, yes, Donald Trump's dad had dementia. It's genetically there for elderly Trumps to lose their mind. So the question would be, at this point, do you think the sky supports anything this month or in May where he might be removed, like the 25th Amendment?
Well, I mean, in my last month's video, I did say that if he ever becomes like unwell, something along those lines, it will be April itself in 2026. But after that, the next pivotal, I would say, period for him will be when the sun transits his ascendant in late Leo. That week will be pivotal. Otherwise, I actually do see him staying longer
Mm-hmm.
than 2026. But the thing is, I did post something on Substack in one of my notes that the house is going to flip in the midterms and his wings will be clipped.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll probably see him raging more.
Okay. All right. We
Yeah.
shall see how this month rolls.
Yeah. And of course, we can't forget the Melania's press conference.
Yeah, the get out ahead of it press conference.
Yeah, I find that very interesting because like Mercury just came out of post shadow in late Pisces, and is activating one of those previous three total blood moon lunar eclipse points, particularly the one that happened in mid March 2025. Yeah, it was via an opposition, yes. And Mars is also inching closer to Neptune as well. So, like I can't take that press conference seriously. And of course, a lot of shows have kind of mocked that appearance and exaggerated her accent.
Yeah, and it brought the whole e-files, just call it the e-files or whatever, into the forefront again. Lost for a while in the fog of war. It's not over yet. Like that thing is haunting the administration.
Oh, yes. And of course, there's also the announcement of the automatic military draft registration, which I called it in my April video. And they did announce that in April itself. Not to mention that those grifters of Trump, like Caitlyn Jenner and Tim Cook, they are also in the news for several different things because for them, it's like for Caitlyn Jenner, like the gender of the passport wasn't changed from male to female, and Tim Cook was also humiliated, and he also announced that he'll be stepping down as CEO of Apple. There's just so many things happening in April. I can't keep track of it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we haven't had a stellium like that in decades. So, and the conjunction of Mars and Saturn. So it was intense. It is intense. You and I are still sitting here recording in it. So.
Oh yes, because the exact Venus-Uranus conjunction at 29 Taurus will be happening pretty soon. After we recorded this video, and it'll be squaring Trump's and JD Vance's ascendant.
Yeah, I know.
That one is a whole other, story. I mean, this can be talking about the new digital system, banking system that we're heading into because it's Venus, Uranus, and Taurus, right? All together.
Mm-hmm.
But this also can be dealing with currency swapping because of what's going on in the Middle East, the instability of it all. I've actually written something pertaining to that, but it's actually at the end of this presentation.
Okay.
So for May 2026, we do have not one, not two, but three lunations. So we have a blue moon right at the end of the month. And that blue moon is really powerful, to say the least, because the sun and moon are both on prominent fixed stars. One is Aldebaran and one is on Terrace. Go figure.
Yep. Tell me about it. That's my ICMC axis.
Okay, so you tell me more when the time comes.
I will. I've lived through a few of those real big activations over the years to that part of my chart. Well, I'll keep you posted. So, and Antares is a star connected quite often to war.
Yeah, so do I see the whole Iran thing kind of like slow down or become like minuscule in its impact. Actually, I do see that for me, there'll be this first half will be things kind of get a bit smoother, and then middle of the month because of that Taurus new moon on our goal bang on, things may kind of pick up the pace again, and it's not in a good way.
That's May
Someone may lose their
16th. Yeah.
head. Yeah,
May
someone
16th
may lose their
lunation.
head. Yes. That lunation's pretty important to me because my moon is exactly there.
Oh, gosh. Well, an exalted moon on that star. Good for you.
Well, I mean, you can't win it all really with the astrology
Oh
lottery.
my God. Mhm.
So the fixed star Algol, where the new moon will be in the middle of May, it will activate Iran's natal moon, which is about 28, 29 degrees of Taurus. So do I actually see something peaceful being, talked out of it? As far as I know, there's no agreement. There will never be. And people have asked me, how long does this thing with Iran will go on? Then I asked them back, how long is a synodic cycle of Mars and Saturn? Yeah, it will last till the next one.
Years. Yeah, 2 years. What is the house that the moon is sitting in? I can't remember. Iran's moon is in which of its natal whole sign houses? Do you recall? Leo
Let
rising,
me.
sun in Aries in the 10th, in the ninth. Huh. Because when you talk about a nation and you talk about moon, you usually talk about the people.
Yep. And the one chart that I have extracted from Astro Theme is got a Sag rising though.
Yeah, I like the Leo rising chart, which is the new regime revolution chart.
Right. If it's Leo rising, then a late Taurus moon will be 10th house.
Yes, we'll use that one. Okay. I find that one really accurate for what's going on lately. So that's just why I asked you. Okay.
Mm.
So, yeah. So it will be an interesting time. Hmm.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been honestly tracking one of Trump's people that many other astrologers has kind of missed out, and it's Stephen Miller. Because that character is like, because he's the advisor for Trump, right? Well, I mean, Trump is the face, but the advisor is like doing a lot of things. Um, or whispering into Trump's ears what to do next, put it that way.
Right.
And Stephen Miller has got a Mars at 20 Leo, where the total solar eclipse in August will be.
Mm-hmm.
So I do see something originating from him going into Trump's ears that may impact Trump in terms of his decision making,
Okay.
put it that way. And I also do see that for the Taurus new moon on our goal, it's also triggering India's chart quite a bit. And also the leader Modi's chart quite a bit as well.
Hmm.
And it also impacts Pakistan's and Afghanistan's chart. So over the coming new moon in Taurus, I do see somewhat, because until now, India has not been dragged into the conflict of Pakistan and Afghanistan fully. And it seems like that Taurus Algol new moon may set the tone of
Hmm.
the beginning of something, because new moon, right, is the beginning of something.
Well, and Pakistan's been taking the public lead role or been assigned that in negotiations for the war with Iran. And so if you see an activation of also Pakistan, and we're probably seeing also what the change is in their negotiating role or lack thereof.
Mm. And if I were to zoom out to look at the sky map in terms of synodic cycle, which is the cycles of any two planets in the sky,
Mm-hmm.
for this we will focus on Jupiter outwards to Pluto and in pairs. The only pairing that's waning, the rest are waxing, which is like have started their new cycle. The only one that's waning is Saturn and Uranus, which controls the supply chain of things. Do I see more stresses with that? Hell yeah. If you think about it, Saturn and Uranus will come together in 2032, right at the end of Gemini. It's on this fixed star called Betelgeuse. And that particular year, it's let's just put it this way, from now to 2030, I don't see us having a peaceful time.
Right, right,
And
right.
that's coming from the very last transit Venus star point, or T.VSP, as I would like to call it, in Scorpio at 0 degrees 45 minutes. That's coming later this year.
Hmm. And the last in
With,
our lifetimes.
yes, the last in our lifetime. We've already started feeling that Scorpio transit Venus star point that's supposed to be actually phasing in the first day of Scorpio season in 2026 by that first solar eclipse in Aquarius at 29 of Aquarius, close to.
Hmm.
Because if I use the technique of Anticia, the Anticia equivalent of 29 Aquarius is 0 degrees to 1 degree of Scorpio.
Right. That's great. That's yeah, it's activating that sort of secret relationship between the two elements. Right. Brilliant. Yeah. Well, that's kind of interesting way to tie it together, the Anticia. So, but just want to say, as a general principle, Scorpio being a war sign and Venus being in detriment, and then this is the last in our lifetime star point there this fall in October, around the 24th. Ultimately, I'm pleased because then all of her star points will move to Libra for the rest of our lives, and that's her balance, her harmony, her peace, her kingdom of justice. I mean, to me, I feel like we're coming to like the critical death throes of a cycle of stealthy war, right? Scorpionic war, secret war, wars with agendas, wars with, run by intelligence agencies, that kind of thing.
And if you think about it, I have commented in one of your latest article regarding Trump's progressed ascendant. And if you use the Egyptian bound, the first few degrees of Scorpio is ruled by Mars. So it gives it the extra power, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. Yeah, it gives an extra power. Yeah, and distributions through the bounds. Yeah, he's dealing with the first 7 degrees of Scorpio. He's in a Mars ruled situation, and so the guy who runs on peace. Sorry, guys, this is technical, but there's another great technique for his ascendant moving through a war segment of the sky that doesn't go away until like 2030 or something. So like in the middle of his like promotion of peace through his platform, his getting elected, behind the scenes is something else completely different going on. So it's just an interesting time to be alive. I'm going to give us all some encouragement because Donny and I always look for the silver lining in the dark, right? There is a sense that we're coming into almost like a climactic crunch with Pluto out of bounds and the South Declination, people taking power back. And then at the same time, we're coming to the end of Venus, who can be a war goddess, by the way, continually meeting the sun every 4 years in Scorpio, minus a dip out last time, 4 years behind us. She was in Libra, but she's going to get out of that swamp of Scorpio and move into Libra. And I think this is going to herald like what we're moving into next, which is approximately 4 years from, so 2030, this 2026, beginning to move into a new era where, for whatever reason, I think we're going to experience an exhaustion with war.
But having said that, we still have the transit Venus star point, which is the zodiacal conjunction between Sun and Venus on average 9.5 months in the sky. But the longer cycles can be 4, if not 8 years long.
Yeah, we're still dealing with the Aries cycle, for example, but at least
Yes.
or at least we're getting rid of the Scorpio. That's the wars that are done in stealth. I'm an optimist, Donny. I'm an optimist. 2030, we begin to see the dawning of the light.
I mean, we still got the Aries transit Venus star point. By the way, when we say a transit Venus star point is phasing in, it doesn't phase in at 0 degrees. It phases in at 29 degrees of that sign.
Yeah.
And it phases out at,
Zero.
a single 0 or 1 or 2 degree, depending, of that sign. we still have that transit Venus star point in Aries coming up at least till the 2030s. And in 2041, it will finish and it will give rise to the Pisces transit Venus star point. And
Yeah.
that's when we fully move into like Venusian territories after 2041.
Yes, brilliant. Yeah. So we'll have an
Yeah.
exalted placement for Venus and a dignified placement for Venus after the 2040. So those of you out there having babies right now or young grandkids, there's hope ahead.
Well, I hope music gets better then.
Okay. I'm going to let you continue on. Keep going.
Yes, and also I do see that there may be the shortage of resources coming in. This may include like fuel, food, on top of like cancel flights and increase fuel surcharges and even airspace closing. I mean, we've already seen this in April 2026. I mean, I've screenshot some news and posted, on Substack saying that, like, wow, people are stranded here, people are stranded there, people are stranded here and there, you know what I mean? And we can't really catch a break. And this is on the backs of the US dollar having a Saturn return over the next 2 years.
Yes. Right now in
So,
Canada, our airline, Air Canada, has canceled a huge number of flight paths because of the fuel problem.
and also I just recall because I just posted this like a few days ago. There was a shooting like 45 minutes outside of Mexico City on the sacred site in the pyramids. It's a
Yes.
pretty popular place. Uh, yeah, I mean, you can see how Mercury, Mars, and Saturn, where they come together in Aries, and Mars being the strongest of the three, what this may entail. I mean, today I was out before us recording to catch a break, let my brain catch a break. And I was on a train, Mercury, public transport, and suddenly like people started shouting and start fighting.
Wow. That's so cartoon like, eh? Mars, train, fighting, Saturn.
And not to forget that Venus and Uranus are coming into a conjunction at 29 Taurus. Yeah, so it's this few days is kind of wiggity whack for me.
Yeah.
And
I see you've addressed birthright citizenship stuff as well here at the May.
yes, this is actually coming from the string of lunations that we are about to talk about. Because if I look at the three lunations, the first one is a full moon in Scorpio. The second one is a new moon in Taurus. Then the third one is a full moon in Sagittarius. The third one in particular is very close to the US ascendant Sibley chart. So there can be something that what defines uh, someone having this birthright citizenship.
Yes, it is. It's only 3 degrees off the United States ascendant. It's also precisely on the ascendant of Benjamin Netanyahu at 9 Sag. That full moon on May 31st.
So are things gonna be peaceful? Then I would say enjoy the first half of May 2026,
That's
where
what I
things
said
is
in
a
my
bit
all
like
signs. I said the first 2/3 are okay. Watch out for the last part of the month.
I mean, I would say first half, before the new moon
Yeah.
in Taurus on Algol, you know.
Hmm.
Uh, only the first out of the three kind of gives me that okay, things are kind of maybe mellow out a little bit. And then it'll just wham bam, thank you, ma'am. You know. And so we'll start off with the first lunation of May, which is that Scorpio full moon at 12 degrees. So I won't go through all this in detail because people can read or take a screen snapshot. I want to get to the meat and bone of it all.
Hmm.
That's the kind of astrology I like.
Hmm.
What I do see with this 12-degree Scorpio full moon using the Sabian symbol is that it's about pushing Agenda 2030 because we already we are already in 2026, and how long more till we reach 2030? Not too long, actually. So they're using the resource crunch to really push certain agendas. There's mapped out, in their what I call manifesto. This includes like 15-minute cities and all this fuel crunch or shortage. They're really pushing the electric vehicle hype train. That's what I do see. On top of the 15-minute city, the whole concept of it all.
Mm-hmm.
And this is to be in time to lay down the foundations before the accelerated rollout of the central bank digital currency or whatever you want to call it. Plus, also what's going on in China with the social credit scoring systems. I do see it with this particular lunation right at the beginning of May. And for the next part, for the purpose of May's lunation, I have used also elements of Uranian astrology as well. I just want to tell the audience, so don't be kind of like, get all wide-eyed and what am I reading? So that's why there's like things like Volcanus, Kronos, Trans-Pluto, Astrea, and also Poseidon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I've looked at the dial using Uranian astrology, what this particular 12-degree Scorpio lunation point is highlighting using what I call the midpoint technique. Okay. And this is really about pushing people to such an extent where they need to be self-sufficient. What's being sold to us is just like it's packaged into something idealistic, but people are not buying it. I think that's the best way to put it in layman language. People can smell a rat. That's all I can say. Or many rats for that matter. Yeah.
Yeah, and the fulfillment of long-term mission versus material plane money slash fuel. I like that for the collective, an orientation away from the distraction matrix and into our deeper essence in Astrea, Jupiter, but Astrea being not only a very like where the goddess stayed to help humanity forever and waited to help us, and all the gods of Mount Olympus left, but there's a quality of the dedication to humanity from the divine, so where can we open that up in our own lives, right? Because it is the distraction matrix, we're being completely entertained through social media, movies, filmography, fiction. It's an entertainment distraction matrix, but it keeps us from authentically going into that question of what is our true mission here individually.
Yes, and throughout April 2026, I've gotten emails after emails and say that, what if Armageddon comes? I have a standard reply for them. I said that there's only two things that will survive an apocalypse: roaches and Cher. Cher will still be around when the apocalypse happens.
You're funny.
And she'll still be singing If I Could Turn Back Time. Okay.
And I know I saw her in concert. She's so cool. I was like right in front of her, like I knew someone who was running the concert a few years ago, a decade ago. And I love her up, man. She's got these, like, she's a little old grandma. She comes out, she says, I'm not your average grandma, folks.
And she can't sing because silicone floats. I'll just leave it at that. And so this is the astrocartography of the lunation for the full moon at 12 Scorpio, right at the beginning of the month. And I have chosen to do things a little bit differently and see how the audience respond to it. So I've highlighted some boxes in magenta. And these places will be where the full moon in Scorpio at around 12 degrees is angular in the world. So that's where the chart, this lunation point is falling onto one of the four angles. And not surprisingly, this is anti-culminating over Washington, D.C. So there's something that's going on. This can be, how I interpret it, will be the U.S. ramping up the attack on Iran owned infrastructures. And this also stretches into Palm Beach, Florida, where he lives.
Mm-hmm.
And this stretches into Cuba. I mean, I've got subscribers from Cuba or Cuban Americans, and they've been telling me how dire the situation is over there.
Uh,
So this is highlighting that because they are in a resource shortage
yeah.
phase, and life just get harder and harder. And those boxes that's highlighted in red will be where transit Vesta over this full moon that is activating the mid-March 2025 eclipse. So this will be around 23 to 25 degrees of Pisces. That's where transit Vesta will be. So there's this inkling of that eclipse energy that's being highlighted here, even though this is just like, a normal full moon. But there is this piece of the puzzle that is still lingering that brings the total lunar eclipse energies forward into May.
Mm-hmm.
And I've written here like this can be geopolitical tensions, but I do see that the Straits of Hormuz may get slightly smoother because, as I said before, like Israel and US will be ramping up their attacks. And until the middle of May, we may actually see more goods flowing through the Strait of Hormuz. But then something has to spoil the party, which is that algal new moon that will happen middle of the month.
Yes. And Algol is not a star that you play with lightly. I mean, it can be, rotting bodies and corpses, as well as decapitations, like somebody being taken unalived from their head of power, or, deposed from their head of power. I mean, it's got so much intensity. It's exactly the same star that was activated for Donald Trump during 2024 in Butler, Pennsylvania, when apparently he was nearly unalived. Although people speculate that was a stage, I'm not going to comment.
Now it's come back, that theory that is a hoax again.
It's trending back again.
Yes. I mean, right when Venus and Uranus are at 29 Taurus in the 10th house of Trump's chart, squaring his ascendant.
Yeah. And by the way, poor Greenland. Sorry to interrupt you, but like Greenland, you guys are not out of harm's way.
No, because the Vesta, which is activating that total lunar eclipse energy, that Vesta is angular over Greenland. So resource stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, fighting over resources.
Cuba, Greenland, still in the storyline.
Yes. And also like Hawaii as well over here.
Yep. What's on the West Coast there? Is that LA area? I see you got a box in the West Coast of
Yes,
US.
it's LA. Yeah.
Okay.
Towards the San Francisco and Seattle area. So this could be something that's, like I've written here, geoseismic in nature.
Yeah.
And the same thing can be applied to over Hawaii over here.
Got it.
So here and here. It seems like we cannot catch a break since the eclipse. And also the cost of living measures being implemented, like some kind of rationing I do see. You can also probably see like supermarket shelves getting emptier as well. Because of a depletion in stockpile or reserves. Because there's actually a time lag in how long via the cargo ships that things arrive from one place to the other. And in May, we probably see like the true impact of what happened on February 28th. Yeah.
Yes, the pipeline is blocked of food and resources, but fertilizer also is going to show up later on in the fall because fertilizer supplies will be so expensive.
Yes, and I've also zoomed in on certain parts within the US, And what I do conclude, because there's a Mercury, Mars, Uranus, Pluto, and Ceres lines crossing over this part in the US, the whole thing regarding the No Kings protest may actually pick up steam
Hmm.
as well in the US, from what I can see.
Right.
And to keep things kind of short and sweet, because we don't want to be here for 2 hours, um, I basically have written like what's happening in May 2026. Basically, there is this thing that's a temporary emergency waiver on the sale of E15 fuel in the USA starting in May 2026. And this is about ethanol dilution of fuel.
Mm.
Will people just sit down and just take it? I'm not sure, because if I look at what's happening in Ireland and Italy in April 2026 wise pertaining to uh, the fuel prices skyrocketing, people can take some notes from Ireland and Italy, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And their protests, they got really creative, put it that way. The power of Pluto in Aquarius. I'll
Yes.
just leave it as that.
The power of the people. Yep.
And it's going out of bound till 2035 every year for some months of the year. When it goes out of bound this year, in August, all the way till December, I'm just waiting to, like, eat my popcorn and just watch the show. And I have also written down other possibilities on like people getting arrested, like influencers being deplatformed, demonetized, talking about the realities of the war or the lies being said about the war. And I mean, all these things shouldn't really shock you, like supermarket shelves getting emptier. There can be like panic buying. Although this time I hope it's not toilet paper, because the goddess of sanitation, hygiene is not in the mix. So no toilet cleaners, no toilet paper, cozy, like I don't know what it, yeah.
Yeah.
And this may actually motivate people. This 12-degree Scorpio full moon, it really empower people to live or think of ways to at least live semi off grid in their arrangements. I know for completely off grid, this may be very difficult, but at least semi off grid. I mean, I mean, I don't type things that I don't do myself, and I've been trying to like, I've been doing a lot of fermentation of
Right.
stuff in
Right.
my house, and just to make sure my gut health that I can handle the energy that's coming up.
Yep.
So into May, we've seen this in April 2026 flight cancellations, and this will continue because airlines hedge ahead of time. Fuel cost. So we will still see in May 2026 there's even more flight cancellations. Of course, if you need to go somewhere, travel insurance and just research on more popular routes. So you can be sure that those have a less likelihood of being cancelled. Put it that way.
Yes. Yes. And they've built in price increases to account for the uncertainty. So that also just down trickle to optional travel. People just won't be going there. They'll just not be booking.
Yes. And for the last few possibilities in their manifestation, I kind of wing it as I go. When I look at the lunation chart, like AI being able to create and grow new plant species. Because Ceres is also highlighted over this lunation, and Ceres is about agriculture and plants.
Yeah.
And I've also written here that EU shares may actually fare relatively better than US stock market in May. And that's because of how the lunation is activating the EU charts in particular. Sad to say, mass layoffs may accelerate. This is due to outsourcing to streamline the model of operation for businesses. And the last two, I mean, the one regarding the UBI or some kind of austerity income, I do see that coming in 2026 already. When I looked at the year-long astrology, the last one is for people who are interested in what's going on in pop culture. So this can mark the finale of the Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds versus Justin Botoni case.
Yeah, I was tracking that for a while, so I've been not keeping up. So is there a last big court appearance coming, or are the big finales coming?
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of the charges got dismissed, but there's like maybe two or three left, and then like it's being thrown back and forth, and oh my God, but the damage has been done on a PR level. I don't think she'll be working anymore. And it's pretty expensive for her husband.
Okay.
So there may be some finale, put it that way, from this lunation, what it suggests. Because it's activating all three of their charts.
Right.
This particular new moon. Oh, sorry, full moon. Let's go to the new moon. So this one is on the fixed star Algol. But if I use the Sabian symbol to look at what's actually going on, this actually feels just a tad romantic to me. A Spaniard celebrating his señorita, This is what this 26 Taurus Sabian symbol is about. But then if I look deeper into it, this particular new moon actually will activate the mid-February 2026 partial solar eclipse in late Aquarius via a square aspect. And Venus and Uranus will also be freshly into Gemini as well by the time we hit May. Mm-hmm. And this leads me to think there's something regarding the race to secure rare earth supplies will be ramped up here because of the activation of that a late degree Aquarius squaring Uranus partial solar eclipse. But more importantly is where Uranus is by the time middle of May 2026 comes around.
Right. But that eclipse in Aquarius also is connected to the onset of the situation with Iran. So we also could wonder what role Algol will play on this moon of Iran, given that the February eclipse was also the buildup for the onset of the war. So,
and this particular new moon is also, I think, only 2 degrees away from Iran's moon.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So it's like in a movie, right? And the inciting incident was the eclipse that triggered Trump to go to war while negotiations were ongoing against Iran at the behest of Israel. And then the next thing you know, we're now in like the first act reversal, and we're going to see the next story. This moon is really, I think, strongly connected to the onset of the war.
Because it also activates like not only Iran's chart, but also Trump's chart, Israel's chart as well, J.D. Vance's chart.
Exactly.
So many people that's involved here. And the last bit, I've basically added this a few days back because this particular lunation also activates India and Modi's chart as well. And I've basically written here that there's somewhat events that will lead to India's involvement into the Pakistan-Afghanistan conflict as well. So this is kind of, what do you call that? What I can see from the eclipse astrocartography map, because back in February, there was this exact Saturn-Neptune conjunction at 0 degrees Aries. and it's over Central Europe. And over time, it actually gradually moves eastbound. It
Mm-hmm.
means eventually that Saturn, Neptune, at zero Aries energy will hit India coming up.
Ah, okay.
So that's why will they have peace then? Not too sure under this Algo new moon, put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also utilized some Uranian um, placements to actually look at the bigger picture using midpoints. What can this be about? So, in a collective manner, this is about governance, strategy, institutional responsibility, and social and spiritual cohesion. So, quite a number of things we are experiencing over this Alco new moon. Although it's on a fixed star that represents the Medusa, but it does give us somewhat of the rainbow on the others, the pot of gold at the other side of the rainbow. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And there'll be a lot of needing to account for responsibility from our leaders, holding them accountable. Is it an actual peaceful time? I don't think so. And by the way, I do see that by the time we hit this new moon in the middle of 2026 May, the thing about Iran and the flow of the Straits of Hormuz may get compromised again as well. Overall, I do sense that in May 2026, it's all about building your own community on a resource level that brings people together.
Okay. I have just a question before we move on. You know, the Vestal energy connected with this algal story and having the Medusa myth of being basically a grapey, we're going to say that word grapey instead of the R word story. You know, she gets basically, maltreated, and Vesta is like the virgin. Vesta is like the sacred priestess. Vesta often represents the maiden archetype. That's very E-files. That's very Epstein stuff, you know? So I wouldn't also put it past this moon to really be a massive, culminating, story.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. Because I think that this is going to be really activating that whole narrative a lot. Okay, great.
I mean, in April, we've got, the whole press conference by Melania. Lies need to stop,
I know you hear people making fun of her accent, but she's been in the United States for a long time. I guess she hasn't talked
3
to a lot
decades, by the way, 3 decades, yeah. Over 3 decades.
So she hasn't been talking to a lot of people. That's what I would make of that, to practice her.
You would think that she's kind of at least tried to get better, but this can be, her brand, her charm, put that way.
Yeah.
Because her documentary, was it by Amazon? Yeah.
Yeah, it failed. It lost Amazon money. And there was literally a poll about the first lady that came out, was in the news a week ago. And she's had the lowest rating of any first lady in history since polling began.
Was it negative 12 in the polls? Yeah.
Yeah. And her documentary flopped.
Yeah. And if we look at the astrocartography map of this new moon on the fixed star Algol, that's going to trigger a whole bunch of people in the world, including those that's directly involved in the US, Israel, and Iran thing. We do see that where the new moon on Algol series and Mercury will be angular is still the west coast of the US. So the west coast is still not in the clear in terms of geoseismic activity. That's what I can, yeah. The previous one, there's something as well regarding the west coast. 2. And we then move on to the UK. Something's really going on, spicy stuff. And this is somewhat linked to Russia, which I'll get to it in a minute, because these new moon lines, energetic lines, will be joining the UK to Russia. So there's some sabotage going on in which I'll get to it. And then we've got pretty close to Straits of Hormuz over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And then last bit will be New Zealand. I mean, New Zealand recently, they've been hit with severe floods
Mm.
in April 2026 because I've got friends there. So they've been telling me what's going on. Wellington in New Zealand has been hit particularly hard. And then those boxes in red will be where Vesta, Pallas, Athenas, and Neptune in early Aries will be angular. And we've got, not surprisingly, right over Washington, D.C. down to Cuba, and also straight down to the Panama Canal, in which this is where the US has been really aggressive trying to take back control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the Panama Canal is included here as well. And then we've got where is this place? I guess I've pretty shrunk it really. Over here is Spain, so this can be Italy, southern Italy.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we've got Southeast Asia. I mean, uh, this can also be like weather-related stuff as well. And if not fires, because there was actually a fire in this part of the world where my mouse is,
Mm-hmm.
and it was from an accident, allegedly. A
Mm.
cooking accident that lit the whole village on fire.
Whoa.
Yeah, more than 100 households, their place were gone. And then, of course, we've got Hawaii again.
Mm.
When I think about particularly um, what's going on over this new moon, the temporary compromise or agreement in the opening of the Straits of Hormuz may just kind of fall out from the picture over this new moon on our goal. Not to forget that this new moon, it does conjunct the moon of Iran. So it's like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So go back to where we started, really.
Yeah. And there's also that like pending anxious fear that most people have that could be supported by the sky that, if this war is going to not manifest in the results that Israel wants, that Israel go ahead and do things on its own. I don't know that the old strategies of creating a consensus through a terror event blamed on Iran will work anymore. So I think they must know that won't work anymore, but we still always have the background of our minds that there will be some event that gets constructed to look like it's Iran's fault, right? Or to create Islamophobia or something. And hopefully that doesn't happen.
It's just like a repeat of 9/11, right? And blame it on who?
Yeah, but there's still that looming probability, possibility, threat. So even having, some of this corpse rotting bodies, magenta pink lines, you've got the pink line going through California again, right? The western part of the. And we talked last time in April about the potential that there will be a false flag event, a created debacle in California, just to gin up, American,
just to stir the narrative, to
stir the narrative.
Whatever military activity they want to push it, and people will be funding for. Yeah.
Except that I don't think people buy this stuff anymore. I think we're all so jaded. I mean, other than aged boomers who watch Fox News, most people are like, we don't buy your bullshit anymore. We know you make up things so that we'll all get excited to go off to war.
Oh yeah, that's why I've written here that people may lose their heads from some manufactured disaster, catastrophes, and since like Vesta, Pallas, and Neptune are all in early degrees of Aries, maybe this is to fund the war.
Oh yeah,
or to support the war in some way, shape, or form.
Right. Gotcha. Perfect.
Yeah. And then let me see. Yeah. So I've zoomed in on this part of the world, right over UK. And we've got all this energy, new moon energy plus Ceres and Mercury energy all crossing over the UK and also part of France over Paris. On one hand, I do see uprisings, but also potential disasters over this Algol new moon in the middle
Okay.
of May 2026. So going back to the picture that something may happen to the UK in particular because the lines are directly cutting through the whole of UK, and this will link whatever's going on there to Moscow or Russia. So I've basically written something pertaining to, and this is pretty precise. I suppose I won't be talking around in circles, that internet cables may be cut by Russia, primarily targeting Western Europe. And I've written here the UK.
Mm-hmm.
This is something to look at if it happens. I hope not, but you know. And the internet cables being cut is from that activation of this algo new moon, the position where Uranus was over the mid-February 2026 partial solar eclipse. Yeah.
Mm.
This may have this kind of potential manifestation. I've also written here that there's potential disaster or uprising occurring in both London and Paris. I think people have had it officially.
Mm-hmm.
But over this Algol new moon as well, I do see massive earthquakes may actually happen in succession. I mean, recently we've got those happening in Japan. It was up there 7.5.
Yeah, and I'm of the same mind as you. If anything's going to kickstart a massive earthquake, it's going to be this moon. I've been thinking about that as well for the last 3 days. It's like I don't even mean a 7 point. I mean like getting up into the scary 9 points.
Yeah, and Vanuatu recently had one that's 7.3, which is devastating.
Yeah.
So it's around that Pacific Ring of Fire. If you think about splitting up the term Pacific, particularly Ring of Fire, isn't it that Saturn, Neptune, and Aries conjunction at 0 degrees? Just saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that conjunction is aspecting Pluto, and Uranus will join that combination soon, expecting it. I also do see some kind of social media blackout or downtime at important moments. So if people don't even have to buy a dumb phone anymore. The internet will just black out at certain, parts of May, not enabling you to doom scroll, put it that way. But I do see like water shortages start kicking in for some regions
Hmm.
as well. Once Uranus entered Gemini. And also extreme hailstorms, I do see that as well. So this Algol new moon is no joke. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already said this regarding like India potentially starting to get involved with the whole Pakistan-Afghanistan conflict, and then it'll be somewhat drawn into the conflict with Iran. Because recently I think I've read that India has signed a free trade deal with Israel. So that can be a target on India's back for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this one is about, I think this is no surprise. We've talked about it, like trying to push the independent farmers out of the picture because they couldn't afford the spike in fertilizer prices.
Mm-hmm.
So this is to also like switch us because now Uranus has gone out of Taurus by the time we hit mid-May into Gemini. Is about pushing that new strange diet. Yeah, and it's through advertisements, Gemini, you know. We've already done that Uranus and Taurus, like, all the lab stuff. And people have been emailing me about why is my chocolate not melting? I said, well, certain brands have already invested in a lab grown cocoa.
Ah, interesting.
So that's why your chocolate doesn't melt. I'll just leave it as that.
Hmm.
And there is also this eclipse activation energy, which talks about steps that's accelerated over this new moon for digital sovereignty. So decoupling from US uh, dominated systems. So this is not only about enterprise software, but it also includes like Visa and MasterCard as well.
Mm.
You're also on a chopping block.
Hmm.
So something may be developing there in a story. And that also can be escalation and development in the US threatening to leave NATO. And that's because the Greater Israel Project, it does involve taking some parts of Turkey away, which is a NATO member.
Yes, that's just starting to trend in the news lately again, right? So
Yeah.
Turkey's, you watch out, Turkey. So yeah, that definitely is in the lineup.
And Turkey is also a Taurus dominant country as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, by zodiac sign. And of course, there's also developments and unveiling of the truth in the Melania press conference. Um, I mean, was it her good friend Amanda Ungaro has started talking, but I'm sure there's even more dark parts of hers that's going to resurface.
Yeah, especially with it activating her Mercury Venus midpoint. So
Yes.
yeah, there's
There is when I think of Mercury Venus, I think about a book about liaisons. And there's actually a few, was it one or two paragraphs that's been taken out of a first edition print of a biography about Prince Andrew.
Okay. Okay. I
I
didn't know that,
managed to
but I am okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I managed to get screenshots of that. Because someone was basically showing the paragraphs that were taken
Hmm.
out, because those paragraphs weren't available in the subsequent prints or editions. And it's about Epstein hitting it first, a whole year ahead before Trump hit it.
Uh
And Prince Andrew was also involved in the whole, I don't know, yeah, with Melania.
yeah, yeah. So there's a lot more that's going to come out, sort of like I don't even know what the metaphor for this stuff is anymore. You can't keep it down. It's like there's a sewer backup that you can't control, you know.
Yeah, so more press conferences just to entertain us. I don't know. But something will definitely emerge, put it that way. An unfolding new moon on Algo is no joke. Yeah.
I agree.
And then I've also lined up certain previous full moon predictions, which I've written down, but it is also relevant over this new moon as well
Hmm.
at Scorpio and Taurus axis.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the last lunation, probably the most bang for your buck. And
Well, with
because
Aldebaran,
it's
yeah, Aldebaran and Antares all lined
uh,
action.
yeah, and this is a blue moon because it's the second full moon in a month.
Hmm.
And this one is on 10 Sagittarius on this prominent fixed star on Taurus with the sun on Aldebaran. So it's not soft energy. So you probably need to hug onto your teddy bear for this. And but this also is, on one hand, it talks about potential warfare escalation and involvement, but it's also about envisioning the possible future for yourself. After I looked at the Sabian symbol, what this is about. But if I involve the moon's ruler, which is Jupiter, on another fixed star called Pollux, one of the twins, then we are caught in a dichotomy of realities or circumstances. Also, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Black Moon Lilith are all out of bounds. It's not a soft energy. That's what I do see.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember if Pollux was the mortal or immortal twin? I can't remember.
I can't remember. So
Yeah, don't worry about it. Me neither. I think he's the everyday guy, but I'm not sure. One guy was, tending the horses, and the other one was, but yeah, because there's also within the Pollux and Castor mythology, it's like Abel and Cain. There's the mortal and the ordinary, there's the divine. It's almost a split we all experience in life between the spiritual aspect of who we really are and our everyday mortal self. There's
it also gives me that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of energy.
And Jekyll Hyde, yes, Jekyll Hyde, Abel Cain, Castor Pollux.
Duality of things, like people have to somehow be decisive on which side they have to stand on and move on with life according to it. There's almost like this decision, like it's decision time. You can't just half-ass everything because it's a full moon. It's about culmination. It's about decision making.
Yeah.
As well. Not a soft energy. And if I look at the midpoint, what's basically highlighted here, it's not a soft energy at all. It's about strategic conflict. It's about holding institutional power accountable, social movements, and transformative authority, so on and so forth. I do see more protests going on over this particular full moon, but there's also something pertaining to this full moon that will impact the Middle East as well. I'm not only talking about Iran. I'll get to it when I get to it. I'm talking about Saudi Arabia and also the UAE as well. There's something
not to forget Israel too. Their sun is at 23 Taurus, I think, if I remember correctly. So we even have Israel's sun in degree range of this lunation. The sun of Israel is
it would have been activated over the new moon on Algol. Yeah.
Oh, yes, exactly. Yeah. I went back to Algol in my brain. Sorry about that. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that was back then. Yes, now I forgot. God, we're in the Sag. I get up early for Donny, guys. Yeah.
God, you really love me.
I do.
And so there'll be an increasing protest of, because of a spread of conflict stemming from the zero Aries Sun mundane ingression chart with that Saturn and Neptune conjunction moving eastbound. The astrocartography lines over time, it moves eastbound from approximately Central Europe, eastbound, so it moves towards India eventually. And if we look at the blue moon, the blue full moon, you can see most of the places have not changed. It's still the West Coast. All three lunations are highlighting the West Coast of the US separately. So there's something that's going on. Not to forget Hawaii as well. It's
Mm-hmm.
also like repeatedly highlighted. So there could be geoseismic or floods going on, perhaps. But this time we switch to the northern part of Brazil. But more importantly, you can see here is very tight in terms of the activation. Those boxes in magenta is where the full moon on Antares energy is angular. Those in magenta, and those in red will be where the ruler of the sun in this full moon, which is Mercury, is falling over
No,
as
the
well.
ruler of the full moon, Jupiter.
The moon is ruled by Jupiter. The sun is ruled
Oh,
by
the sun.
Mercury.
Sorry, yeah, okay, the sun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is that pink box? The pink box that's next to, what are we looking at?
Particularly here, this
Yeah.
will be Saudi
Okay.
and also the UAE as
Okay.
well.
But is it?
Pretty close to Straits of Hormuz.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say, I still think we got the straits in the middle of that mess.
Yeah, pretty close. But the Straits is actually here where my mouse is further
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
So it's like here,
Yeah.
there's something going there. And I think I may have cracked the code, what may happen. And of course, we've got parts of Malaysia, Borneo. Oh, sorry, Sarawak. There can be something that's going on there as well. And when I zoom in on Saudi Arabia, because in late May 2026, they do have some religious events that's coming up that involves people going to Mecca, which is basically where the red box is, where my mouse is.
Mm-hmm.
So when there's a congregation in 2026, I treat it as a bad thing.
Mm.
And I do see there may be some catastrophe or disaster happening in Mecca over that religious period where people are congregating. I will get to UAE later because I just kind of, a piece of news basically caught my eye like earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
And if we zoom in on this full moon, particularly um, zooming in on Saudi Arabia, I'm talking about a potential catastrophe or disaster. There's over the pilgrimage. Full moon in Sag, right?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. The
Ruled
good
by the
old
Jupiter on Pulox.
religious questing. Here we go. Saudi Arabia into the current Israel U.S. Iran war. Huh.
And also, there can be a finalization or completion, which basically started on April 22nd, close to, yeah, it just happened today when we are taping. The UAE basically initiated preliminary talks with the US for currency swap.
Right. Which is like helping Argentina, like trying to, to
And I
buoy
think
up.
it's over this Antares full moon that this will finalize or complete or materialize.
Right. Right. Right.
And that's because this full moon is conjunct the UAE's natal sun
Wow.
with a transit Mercury over this lunation to their Mercury in tight opposition. One in Gemini, one in Sag. And you've got also like a Venus Neptune square, a transit Neptune to natal Venus square. And lastly, transit nodal axis to natal Neptune square for the UAE.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to the birthright citizenship, because this lunation is pretty closely conjunct the ascendant of the US in the Sibley chart. So, and Sagittarius is about law. Not to forget that in the US Sibley chart, Uranus is also on Aldebaran.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why there could be this like, who's an alien, who's not. So birthright citizenship comes into play here. This can be fiercely debated in the Supreme Court. Yeah. Over this lunation right at the end of May.
Right.
And there can be discussions on potentially banning like apps that spying on people. I mean, all apps spy on people, but I'm talking about WeChat, which is China based.
Mm-hmm.
And in and this conversation will be conducted by selected Western countries in which there's a lot of Chinese residing in.
I see you've got the alien disclosure stuff in there. That's my cup of tea, guys.
um,
Lights and sounds in the sky.
lights and sounds in the sky because woohoo, like there's so many fixed stars that's being featured by this Antares full moon. I'm talking about, my God, drum roll. This whole stack of fixed stars are being activated in the May 2026 lunations. Algol, Shiat, Betelgeuse, then Antares, Aldebaran, Pollux. Please ignore this because this is a repeat, and also like Algenib. So there's so many fixed stars that's being highlighted in May 2026. So my concluding, should I say, statement pertaining to this one is that it's definitely another mover and shaker month that's on the backs of an already pivotal, action-packed April 2026.
Exactly. So then astrologically, May the 31st moon, maybe a day or two before and up to 2 weeks after, especially, that's where we see a lot of this intensity of the algal activation with all of these stars. So it looks to me like I had this, you can coast through the first couple of weeks of May and think all is well. And then as we get to the last part of May, yeah, then we can buckle up.
I would say the first 2 weeks of May is still like okay, and then the algo new moon phases in,
Yeah,
and then it kicks off a whole other bunch of shenanigans.
it does. It really does. I still have to go back to Netanyahu's 9 degrees Sag ascendant and go, I don't know what that looks like on him. I'll be doing Lunar Shadows investigations, but it's all with all the other intensity going on, it's definitely going to highlight something in his world as well. He's still under legal scrutiny in his own country.
Oh yes, and I think I have put here over the, was it new moon that, was it, or is it this full moon regarding potentially Trump and Netanyahu having more war related, should I say it could be war related crimes or just more crimes being put on their name.
Right, more atrocities being put under their resume list.
Ownership,
Yeah.
ownership as well. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was we never go the 1 hour that we planned to, but you already warned me it would be long. We have 3 moons. I can understand. I really love getting up and chatting with you. I have to get up early, but it's not as bad as it was when the time zone was before. I was having to get up in the dark, and it was dark. Well, Donny, thank you so much. Where can people find you? Of course, in the beginning, the intro, I will remind people as well in the edited intro, but tell us where you want people to go. All the links are below. Where are your favorite places for people to go find you?
I mean, I do have my YouTube channel at Donny Lim, DonnyLim. It's also the same handle on Substack. And I do post a lot more juicy stuff that I won't post anywhere else.
Yeah.
And I do have certain controversial articles that's coming up. I think there's one on Baby and JJ. I think that's set for June and July.
Wonderful. Yeah, go watch Donny on his channel. But yeah, Substack, he's extremely active, posting lots of information there and doing really well over there, which I'm glad because I love Substack myself. So yeah, definitely go sign up for Donny's Substack drops. He's going to give you all the news that's not fit to print anywhere else.
Yes, and I also have other like platforms like Instagram, but of course you will include the link tree, which is kind of like a electronic business card, and it does contain the links to the rest of my socials.
Okay, great idea. And also, we'll be doing this as a collab. So when this goes out, people can actually subscribe to you as well directly from watching the video. Thanks, Donny. I appreciate you also staying up late at night to do this. Actually, we have such a gap between Vancouver and Singapore, but appreciate your depth, your knowledge, and your willingness to really.
I did drink my coffee prior, so I'm awake for this.
All right. I hope you have a great sleep. Thanks for being here today. And this should be coming out. We're recording on the 22nd. I'm aiming to get this out on Sunday, which whatever that day is this weekend. I'll double confirm with it. Okay, everyone. I'm gonna hang up with you too, so I can go eat some breakfast. So we're gonna say goodbye together. And everyone, thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and Donny's channel. And we'll see him every single month, just before the month starts, to go over the biggest things that are going to happen in the world and in our own lives. Thanks, Donny.
Great. Ciao for now.
Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.
Lunatic astrology.